What's up, YouTube? So people have been asking me why I stopped going out to Deerfield to go racing, and today I'm gonna be explaining why we stopped going out there. So this past off season, we went to a benefit in Deerfield. We got there, we sat down, got our table and everything. There were 6 of us at the table. It was me, my grandpa, my mom, my aunt, my uncle, Dwayne, and me. And then Jim was there, which is the owner of the track for the ones that don't know. He was walking around, and he walked by our table. My grandpa asked him, "Hey Jim, I got a question for you." Jim said, "Okay, what's your question?" And my grandpa asked him, "So Mercer has went with SCDA rules, and there was a few other tracks that are still up in the air at that time. What rules are you going to use for this season? And what will happen if some SCDA cars show up and want to race?" So Jim said that his track will not be an SCDA track. He's going to stay stock. And if any SCDA cars show up, they will not be allowed to race. I'll have to go somewhere else. And we were like, okay, that sounds fair. And that turned out to be a lie. So, and let me say this. At that time, I didn't have one single issue with none of the guys and girls and that came over. None of them. And I wouldn't have had an issue with them coming over if it wasn't for the fact that Jim said he was staying stock, and gave us his word on it. He clearly went back on his word, which to me, it's not right, but whatever. And because he said he was staying stock, we decided to keep the car stock. We were in talks to go ahead and get a bigger motor, lighten up the car a little bit to go SCDR racing, so we can hit a couple other tracks and not be tied down to just one specific track every week, all year. But since he decided to stay stock, we decided to go out to Deerfield to race for one more year, just to learn the car a bit more and see if we can. That's why I was changing setup, seeing what I could do, what I couldn't, just to get an idea what other tracks we would have to do. But he let him race anyhow. Because he let them race, we were severely underpowered, which was frustrating because if he would have said SCDA would have been allowed, we would have been prepared for it. We would have had the bigger motor, and we'd have been on an even playing field. Like, their cars are lighter than mine. They have more power. Like, those two things put together, they're going to be faster, obviously. But anyhow, that's why we were so frustrated. It's because he said they would stay in stock, which caused us to not go and get bigger motor, lighten up the car. We decided to keep it the way it was the previous year, which fit the rules. And that's pretty much the first thing that made us upset out there. The second thing was the whole Miller incident. We started off fine, but about a quarter way through the season, we were leading the points, and after that, he just started racing us completely different. Every time he would be restarting behind us on a restart, going into one, he would dive low, getting in, and then would push because his air pressures were all wrong. But so he would push up, and instead of lifting, so you wouldn't go up into the me, I would be the first place car at that time because he wasn't past us yet. And I was here, there was a lane on the bottom between me and the tires, and he was down here, so I was in front of him, so he could see I was there if he would look. I don't know if he was looking or not, I have no clue, but he could tell, if he looked, he could tell I was there. Like, if you'd look at his front right, like his front windshield, and look to his right just a little bit, he would see my front end. Anyhow, he would be down there and he would start pushing up the track, which there's still room to go up, so I would go up so we wouldn't make contact, because with his wheels turned, the wheel could catch my tire, cut it down, whatever. It wasn't worth throwing my race. And instead of, if I would hold my line, I could throw my race, or I could just move up and not cause an incident. So I move up as far as I can go, and then the wall's there. I can't move no further. And he keeps on coming. He still doesn't lift. So I back out of the gas, let him go. Because at this point, it's still, I don't know, 8 laps, 6 laps, I don't know, something along that way. So I just back out, let him go, and then I follow him. And then every time I try to pass him, he just does not lift, and there's no way to get around him. So he eventually ends up winning that race, right? He pulls off, goes to victory lane. I'm in the, he pulls off on the front straightaway. Gets out and talks. I'm into the pits, out of the car, frustrated because that there is just a dirty move in my opinion. I mean, I get bumping and bumping and running, but there he just was completely. You're either backing off for me or I'm destroying your car, one of the two. And that's not what we're out there to do. We're out there to have fun and race as fair as possible. I get there's gonna be tempers. There's gonna be times where two cars make contact. That's just part of it. But what he did there was not racing. It was not the bump, not the typical rubbing his racing deal. That there is, like I said, not fair. It's a dirty racing. And after that time, I've never done anything. All I did was the first race of the year. He would let off way early, and I would bump him. That's the only thing I did that 3 times in the same race. It's the only thing I did. I walked over, shook his hand, and apologized, and he said no hard feelings. I said, okay, well, cool. But evidently that was not the case. So after that, after his interview, he pulls off, and then right where we're pitted right at the track exit. We're like two or three spots down. I think it was 3. And he pulls off, and all I yelled was boo, real loud, like boo, all loud, because I was irritated. After I did that, Jim comes over on his side-by-side. He comes flying over, saying, have sportsmanship, it's his win, it was fair, he didn't do nothing wrong. After he said that, there's nothing to say, I mean, we clearly were done dirty. Jim didn't care. Nothing I said was going to change his mind, so there's no point. I didn't say nothing. All I did was laugh. We loaded the carpet, we left, went home. Then the following race, Jim came over, like the following week, and said, let's start off clean, fresh slate, and just finish the year out and have a good off season. I'm like, okay. So Miller's been all over the track, running people up, not lifting, and making them do what I do, either go into the wall or lift, and not one word was said to him. But as soon as I yelled boo, it's like started clean, fresh slate. But that there, I mean, one time yelling boo makes up for a whole quarter year of getting almost fenced, I mean, like, that makes no sense. So, see, I got everything written down so I don't forget anything, just so I go in order. Let's see. So that night, that race, the feature, Matt was leading, I was second again. He was doing his weeble wobble stuff, all over the track. And once again, I was like, nah, again, really? So, I tried to pass him on the high side. Same thing. He starts pushing and doesn't lift, and I have to back out of it or else I would have been in the wall. Same deal, different day. So, going on a couple laps, I'm just following him, trying to make out a way to pass him. And I see he's entering turn 1 where there's a lane on the bottom. I'm like, okay. So, I follow him for like, I don't know, 2, 3 laps, 4 laps maybe. And every time he left that bottom lane open. Okay. That very next lap, I go low. He enters where he normally does, and I go low. All of a sudden, he cuts down the track. And again, I have to back out or else I'm going to the tractor tires. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up no matter where I go. he's trying to run us out off the track, you know. It's like, whatever. So I again have to back out. He pulls away 2-3 car lengths. I work my way back up to him, and by the time I work back up to him, it's 2 to go, and then I have to figure out a way to pass him, you know. I would not feel comfortable with him just pinballing around the track to win, you know. But 2 laps to go, I'm following him, white flag, turn 1, same thing, but this time I'm up high and going down the back straightaway. Instead of being up high, I cut down low and I'm on his inside. And going into turn 3, I enter on the bottom and I go in there hot and I start pushing. And in that very second, I'm thinking, if this was him and I was in his position, he was in mine, what would he do? Yeah, he wouldn't lift. He's been doing it all year. So I'm like, I'm not lifting either. He's been doing it to me all year, so why should I lift, you know? If it was, and then if, I'll do this too. If that would have been anyone else, I'd have lifted, you know, because everyone else lifts, you know? It's just the right thing to do. And there might be people that don't like me or whatever. I mean, I don't care. But I would lift every time for someone, unless they've done me like he's done. Like, unless they've done it to me, I won't do it to them. Every time I've made contact, besides a handful, they have made contact with me. So it's kind of like, I'm not just gonna let you hit me and me back off for you. That'll just cause you to hit me more, thinking you can, you know, knock us around and we'll just let you be fine with it. And that's not the case. It is not what we will do. If you hit us and try to bump us out of your way, we're gonna do the same thing right back. You know, I mean, 1 for 1. So that's what I did. I didn't lift, and he didn't lift either. So we made contact. He was all over the place, overcorrected, smashed his front end. I took the win, you know. And there was rain coming, so we weren't allowed to do. No one that night, and not one class, did on-track interviews. So that was not on normal. I pull off the track, go to victory lane, and start taking a few pictures. And here comes Jim. And Jim says that was dirty. I drove straight through him. That shouldn't have happened. It was he's also said it was one of the best mini stock races he's ever seen. Until the end. I was like, how the heck is the guy leading, where he's all over the track, not holding the line, and the guy in second about getting junked every other lap, a good race? But I didn't say that. I was just thinking that. I was like, huh, this dude really doesn't, it's either he doesn't respect the mini stock class, he just wants us there so it's like a support class. I mean, the track, every class out there is a support class, you know. If it loses one class, the track's not gonna make it, you know. And it sucks to say it. It's a great track, just the ownership isn't the best, I'll say that. And it's tough to see, because the track used to be a really great place. Like, when I was younger, we used to go out there for the enduros all the time. And when I say I was younger, when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, we'd go out there for all the enduros. My grandpa used to sponsor a guy. He used to own his own business, and he'd sponsor him, and we'd go out and watch it. It'd be fun. Great little track. But anyhow, Jim's all saying how that was dirty, shouldn't have happened, but he says the win counts. And we got this in the feature winner sticker, so the win counts, right? I say it does. But the following morning, I wake up, hop on Facebook like I normally do, just scroll, kill time, whatever, till it's time to do something, whatever. And they post the results, and I see mini stocks first is Miller. I'm like, that's not right. Then I don't see me. I'm like, huh. Let's go all the way down to the bottom. There I am with a DQ. I'm like, huh. So, I was like, he says that's our win. I didn't feel like, I mean, yeah, didn't feel right about winning that way, but I'm also like, one for one. He's been doing it all year for me, all year to me. I'm gonna do it to him. I mean, I'm not just gonna keep putting up with it and not do nothing, you know? It's tired of it. So I was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm done going out there. I mean, if we're gonna keep getting where we can get beat on, but as soon as we beat back, it's all wrong. I'm like, no, screw that, we're done. So that was our last time out there, and we haven't been back since. And quite frankly, I don't care to go back until the only way I'll go back out there is if ownership changes. That's it. No other. I mean, you could pay me to go out there, and I won't go. You can hand me $100 bill, say go out there and watch a race. I'll stay home. You can keep your $100. So yeah. And I will say this: I'm not glad that this whole situation happened out there, but I'm glad that it made us realize we shouldn't be out there. The only thing coming that happened to us when we went out there is the car got beat up. We weren't even having any fun. You know, that's what racing's all about. It's supposed to be having fun, and we weren't having any. So we were like, at that point, we were like, well, we're not having fun. We're not getting treated the best. We're like, there's no point in going out there. We can go elsewhere, have fun, and just enjoy it. I mean, the last race of the year for us, we went to Hilltop. We finished 7th, and we had the most fun we had all season. And we've won 5 times in Deerfield and had more fun than winning after finishing 7th. That might say something, but to someone might not, but to me it does. And this year we plan on going to Wayne County one time. That's just because Wayne County to us is the next closest track, so we're going to have I don't know how many people know, but we're going to have a brand new car this year. Well, it's an 09, but brand new race car. Anyhow, we're going to just want to go to the local track, test it out, make sure everything's fine, make sure it's running good before we travel, you know, a couple hours. Wayne County is only 39, 40 minutes away, something like that. And so that's our first race of the year. Then we want to go to Muskingum and Hilltop, since it got sold and there's new ownership and they're planning on making the schedule for this year. We want to go down there for a time. And then we want to go to Midway once, Tyler County, Atomic, and Beckley for their big SCJ race. The last 3 races I mentioned are all big SCJ races. And Midway, they have 2 classes. They have a Econo class and they have, I think they call it 4-cylinder, but it's like open SCJ. And Econo is stock. So we're gonna probably race, we will race with the open SCJ guys there. And Muskingum, I believe they have an SCJ rulebook. Or an SCJ class, something like that. Anyhow. Yeah, so that's, we plan on hitting them 7 tracks, and I don't know, I made a schedule, put it on Facebook, but it might change, you know. Never can fully tell what's gonna transpire as the year goes on. But yeah, that's pretty much my whole take on the whole Deerfield situation. Glad to not be going back out there, and excited for what this season will bring for us and what we might be able to do. And there might be people on here, I will say this, there'll be people on here that say I expect to win. You know, why am I going there? Am I just going to get lapped? I'm just going to get embarrassed. And, you know, that might be true. I might get in the big race, I might get lapped 15 times in a 20-lap feature. I don't give 2 craps, okay? I'll say that. As long as I'm on the track and get raced fair, clean, and not have to worry about getting doored or fenced every other lap, I'm gonna be happy. Like, them guys are respectable. Some of the, them last 3 races I mentioned, the Tyler County, Atomic, and Beckley, them drivers that show up to them races are the most highly respected front-wheel drive drivers in the country. Period. And they're normally, unless there's a parts failure or just a mistake, there is not much dirty driving, if any. And that's what I'm mostly looking forward to, is that. And for those that say that I'm a dirty driver in Deerfield, go back to when I first started. I didn't make contact with any car, okay? And I did my best to stay off everybody. Occasionally, like a couple times, I would bump someone, like when I was trying to push it a little harder than I was, than it would appropriate. I'd like bump into someone and I'd back off and let them go. And excuse me. And in my opinion, that's the way it should be. Like if you bump someone, they kind of wiggle. You gotta back out and let them, keep going. But I did that, and no one had a problem, But I would get. We'll just go back to where I won this check right here. It was what it was. But the driver, I passed cleanly for the lead, right? Going into turn 3, just passed him, enter up high, he enters low, and he just turns up the track and spins us out. And I knew right then and there, I'm like, okay. Didn't touch him one time to pass him. He spins us completely out. And the track puts him in the lead. There's only 3 cars left because everyone broke or whatever. I don't know if there was a crash or if everyone broke. But there was only 3 of us left. Then after that, they lined us up with him up front, the other guy, and then me. So I had to restart third last. Restart second, about 2-3 laps after the restart, I'm back up on this hill. And I'm trying everything to pass, And I do the same thing I did to Miller. I enter turn 3 down low, and he didn't lift to spin it. When he spun us out, he didn't lift, so I didn't lift for him, 1 for 1, like I said. And a bunch of his fans or buddies didn't like that, so they didn't like me. I'm like, whatever, shouldn't have spun us out, should have lifted for us and not done us dirty, and I wouldn't have done you dirty, That's it. And that's all I've ever done out there, is if you do something to me, I do something to you, I'm not gonna sit out there, get beat around and not do nothing. I'm gonna beat around back, that's it. Now, going into the races this year, I'm gonna have a little bit different mindset. Like if I get bumped, we're going a lot faster. There's tight turns at some tracks, and you're gonna bump. So I'm like if you get bumped and you turn a little bit sideways, I'm gonna let it go, unless it's like a deliberately drive in there and smack you. But that rarely happens with them guys. They are top-notch driving, and really looking forward to getting out there with them. It's gonna be a blast, and mostly looking forward to the car not getting beat the crap and back. Literally every time we were going to the track in an open trailer, everyone would say, "That's a derby car, isn't it?" Because after this race incident, the whole left side was smashed because he hit us so hard to spin us out. And then we've also got hit in the left rear because out in Deerfield, setting up for the turn, you would go down the back straightaway and you would tap the brakes, lift the rear, like the left rear would lift up, and you would feather the gas to go. Them guys just want to floor it in there, not hit the brake and just slide up. And that's why, like if you watch the videos, I hold a line for the most part around, and some of them other guys are just all over the place. And that's why. Because I use the brake to set up for the turn and then feather the gas until it grips. They just throw it in there and just floor it, and turn the wheel wherever they want to go. And that's why every time they're on my inside, they slide up into me, and, But that's why the car is so beat up. And I mean, it's not a pretty car. I mean, tractor paint, spray cans, whatever, duct tape, zip ties, you know, whatever we found around the shop, or whatever was at the Dollar Tree, on discount shelf at Harbor Freight, whatever, you know. It was whatever, put it back together so it would run. Or so it would not look totally crappy. I mean, I kind of, out in Deerfield, I kind of leaned for the crappy look, make the car not look fast and then be fast. That's my goal. I mean, out there, I didn't want to look fast. I wanted to look slow. Every time someone asked me a question, I wanted to act dumb, you know? Like I didn't know anything. That way they weren't expecting anything. It was kind of like a mind game. They wouldn't expect anything, so they just kind of lighten up, and they don't, on the initial start, they don't try as hard. And as soon as I can get an initial start, I mean, I can go. But if they get me on the start, it's a struggle to pass them. So it's like that little mind game to get up front, and sometimes it's all it takes. Other times it's like, it's a lot more than that. But sometimes you can get lucky enough. As long as you can get that good start, you're good. Yeah, kind of rambled on there, that last bit. But, yeah, that's kind of all I got for this video. I don't even know how long it's going to be. Hopefully not too long. People will probably get out of their minds listening to me. Excuse me. But, yeah, glad to be done in Deerfield. Glad to be looking forward to doing what we're going to be doing this year. Like I said, the schedule might be changing around. You know, life goes and stuff changes on the fly. But, for all, like, if there's any sponsors or anything watching, if you guys, well, I know a couple said they wanted to come to a few races, but I'll try our best to have like a week or two warning before we change anything. But then again, it's nearly impossible, but I'll try my best. And yeah, I'll stop rambling. Yeah. Oh, I didn't show this. Let's see. I'll hide my address so people can't. This is, okay. Right there it says From Goods Raceway, and ooh, ref on dangerous driving, huh? Nice. But there's how long I was suspended for, from September 6th to September 13th, and it said include the rainouts, but there was not a rainout, so it was that week. September 6th to the 13th of 24 is when we were suspended, and that's it. Like there's, like right now, oh, obviously not right now, but whenever their first event is, there's nothing that will, nothing but the desire to not go out there stopping us from going out there. And they might have not came out there, but anyhow, we are free to go out there at any point that they have an event going on, but we won't. And I made that clear now, so I don't care if they say don't come back ever, or you're banned or whatever. Because what we wanted to do, we wanted to leave on our terms, not theirs. And we've done that, so I don't care if we get banned, because we won't go back until ownership changes or something else happens. I don't know. Yeah, that's about it for this video. I know I've said that like 3 times now, but yeah. Thank you guys for watching this, and yeah, looking forward to this year, see what we can do. Thank all our sponsors, all our marketing partners, all the help to get to our, shout out to the Wises too, they're hooking us up big time. Randy, Chris, big shout out, great guys. Great guys at Race Fords. What else can you ask for, you know? But, yeah, thanks for watching, and, looking forward to taking the camera to the track this year, see what we can do with it, you know, I don't know. But yeah, hope y'all have a great day, and thank you for watching.